Today,
Wait.
he is facing 25 years in prison for attempted murder. A few years ago, he won a Super Bowl with the greatest quarterback of all time. Antonio Brown's downfall
on the
is
day
so
that I was there?
insane that if you wrote his life story as a movie script, it would be criticized for being too unrealistic. Sideline temper tantrums, threatening statements to reporters, tweets that sound like they came from a 13-year-old boy, celebrating losing $30 million, public meltdowns that nearly killed a child, and firing shots in a crowd of innocent bystanders. And on top of
Chat. I swear to you, I'm not kidding it. The studio of Aiden is literally right here. Okay, we heard the shot. They fired shots right there. We're literally behind that wall. That's insane.
all of that, he brutally disrespected the only man who believed in him when nobody else did, Tom Brady. This is how Antonio Brown went from a future Hall of Famer to a Twitter troll facing prison time. A player like Antonio Brown was never destined to be a Super Bowl champion. He was drafted in the 6th round of the 2010 NFL Draft. 194 players were selected before him, and 21 of them were wide receivers, which is the same position he played. Most players selected this late pretty much never expect to play outside of practice, so when he arrived to the Pittsburgh Steelers practice camp, he did everything he could to make a good first impression to the coaches.
We're in practice every day, and he's torching our number one corners, like our top guys, and we're like, is this practice or is this for real? Like, you know, you don't naturally pay attention to a 6th rounder, but you noticed him. Like when he's walking around, his focus, like his gaze is there. If somebody's speaking, he's really listening. You can feel him taking that in.
The very first time AB got his hands on the ball in an NFL game, he took it 97 yards for a touchdown. Despite the amount of talent he clearly had, Antonio spent a majority of his first season on the sideline. In his sophomore season, he got to play more, catching 69 passes and racking up over 1,000 receiving yards. He had also proven to be an exceptional kick returner and was selected to take part in the 2012 Pro Bowl. By this point, he had proven himself to the Steelers, and they offered him a 5-year contract extension worth $42 million. By 2014, he was already ranked the 23rd best player in the league by his peers after putting up an impressive 1,500-yard season with 8 touchdowns. But somehow he managed to outdo himself the following year with nearly 1,700 receiving yards and 13 touchdowns. Antonio Brown was seemingly unstoppable, already on pace to become one of the greatest wide receivers in NFL history. But then a single play drastically changed his fate.
Went to the head. Lewis Harris is going to be flagged for this on the hit on Antonio Brown.
During a playoff game, Cincinnati Bengals linebacker Vontaze Burfict violently charged into AB's head, knocking him unconscious and giving him a severe concussion. This play
I mean, I hate football, man.
Charged into AB's head, knocking him
on the hit.
That's just
on
not
Antonio
right.
Brown.
During a playoff game, Cincinnati Bengals linebacker Vontaze Burfict violently charged into AB's head, knocking him unconscious and giving him a severe concussion. This play was the catalyst for a handful of rule changes that still exist in the league to this day. Vontaze Burfict was also fined $50,000 and suspended for the first 3 games of the next NFL season. Many consider this hit to be the moment that everything went wrong for Antonio, and that now he is suffering from the degenerative brain disease known as CTE, but it's not exactly that simple. Research suggests that CTE is associated with long-term exposure to repeated hits to the head. There is no strong evidence that shows that getting 1 or more concussions or other mild traumatic brain injuries or occasional hits to the head leads to CTE. Then again,
wait, that's false. Huh? It's not showing. Wait, that's false. What? I'm confused. We watched a video about this. Brother, we watched a video where the bobsleigh people are getting CTE and they suffer 0 hits.
1 or more concussions or other mild traumatic brain injuries or occasional hits to the head leads to CTE. Then again, AB has been taking hits to his head his whole life. This was just the biggest and most brutal of them all. But the biggest reason why people suspect Antonio Brown is suffering from CTE is because of his behavior. The Boston University CTE Center is one of the leading authorities on the condition and has affirmed that there is no way to diagnose CTE until someone passes away and their brain is examined by pathologists. However, they have published numerous studies that say becoming emotionally explosive, having a short fuse, or being out of control, physically violent, and or verbally violent is consistent with those suffering from CTE, and usually those symptoms occur slowly over the course of years. In a way, I think people secretly hope he is suffering from a degenerative brain disorder, because AB went from a focused, determined, and hard-working young man to a dangerous, violent asshole, destroying everything in his path. As I've gotten older, I sometimes think it's time to start taking my own health. Cracks began to show during the 2016 playoffs, when Antonio bizarrely chose to livestream inside of the locker room on Facebook after a win over the Kansas City Chiefs. In the livestream, Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin can be heard disparaging their upcoming opponent, the New England Patriots.
Let's start our preparation with a day and a half. They played yesterday. Our game got moved to tonight. We will touchdown at 4 o'clock in the morning. So be it. We'll be ready for that. But you ain't got to tell them they're constantly coming. Because some of us might not like the damn wolf stick.
Ironically, you can hear guys saying to keep a low profile and stay off social media, not knowing AB was recording the whole thing.
Keep it tight. Cool on social media, man. This is about us, nobody else, man.
Everybody know about social media.
Now, I think we can all agree that this locker room talk is pretty mild, probably standard for most football teams, but it's more about the principle. Live streaming inside a locker room is not only a violation of privacy, but just an easy thing to not do out of respect. It was also revealed that AB had signed a $244,000 contract with Facebook to live stream on the platform.
Wait, how many?
Signed a $244,000 contract with Facebook to live stream on the platform, making you wonder where his priorities were. Antonio apologized for live streaming, and Coach Tomlin hinted that AB could find himself off the team if he didn't correct his behavior.
I definitely don't want that to be his story. I'm sure he doesn't want that to be his story. So he has to address these things.
The team did their best to look past the situation, and Antonio continued to dominate on the field. For the 2016 and 2017 seasons, AB was ranked as the 4th best player in the league, and in 2018 he was ranked 2nd overall, behind none other than Tom Brady himself. But this only seemed to inflate his ego and caused avoidable drama for the Steelers. He showed up to training camp in a helicopter, and even arrived 4 hours late for an appearance at a children's hospital. He felt like he was the star of the team and would throw temper tantrums whenever he was treated as anything less than that, which started to cause friction between him and his quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger. Before the infamous hit, the offensive duo had great chemistry, and Antonio always spoke highly of Ben.
Anytime you got a great quarterback, man, with 2 championship rings, a competitor like Ben, man, who says that, man, that just adds fuel to the fire. And it's definitely gratifying, definitely humbling. It's an honor to have him say that about me.
But things changed. During a regular season game against the Baltimore Ravens, Roethlisberger missed Brown, who was wide open in the middle of the field. AB walked back to the sideline and began having a meltdown, screaming at coaches and even flipping a water cooler in anger. Temper tantrums were...
Let me see it.
Missed Brown. Things changed during a regular season game against the Baltimore Ravens. Roethlisberger missed Brown, who was wide open in the middle of the field. AB walked back to the sideline and began having a meltdown, screaming at coaches and even flipping a water cooler in anger. Temper tantrums were normal at this point, with head coach Mike Tomlin saying, "This is not Antonio's first rodeo." Ben Roethlisberger was trying to be professional, but was clearly annoyed with his superstar receiver's behavior. He said, "He's superhuman on the football field, and when that happens, it almost brings him back to being a mere mortal, if you will, because it gets in his head and it just messes with all of us a little bit. I'm not trying to call AB out, I just think this is causing a distraction that none of us really need." However, things were about to get so much worse, because Antonio went from causing slight distractions to committing real crimes.
We are following a developing story involving Steelers wide receiver Antonio Brown. We've learned that he is facing a lawsuit in Florida. This is a civil suit.
After walking into his apartment in Miami, Florida, Brown made the shocking discovery that $80,000 in cash as well as his 9mm pistol were missing. He called the police alleging that the cleaning staff had stolen from him while he was away. However, the investigating officers did not make any arrests. The following day, Brown went into a fit of rage and began throwing furniture off the 14th story balcony. Surveillance footage shows items falling from the sky near the apartment building's pool area, nearly striking nearby tenants. One of these individuals was a small child who was nearly struck by multiple large vases that landed only a few feet away. Brown also broke mirrors, light fixtures, and punched holes in the walls, ironically totaling around $80,000 in property damage. Antonio was sued by the apartment complex for the cost of the repairs, as well as sued by the legal guardians of the toddler who was nearly hit. And even though this was a clear warning sign that something legal guardians of the toddler who was nearly hit. And even though this was a clear warning sign that something was deeply wrong with Antonio Brown, the Steelers organization continued to sweep his problematic behavior under the rug, mainly due to his unbelievable success on the field. However, it was reaching a tipping point where his antics and attitude were just too much to deal with. The following season, in a Week 2 game against the Kansas City Chiefs, Antonio became upset with his lack of targets. His frustration was visible on the sidelines as he refused to celebrate with his teammates after scoring, and he opted out of speaking to the media after the game. A former Steelers employee reacted to the situation saying, "AB needs to thank his lucky stars because he was drafted by a team that had Ben, and Ben got AB paid. You know darn well he wouldn't put up those numbers for other teams." Rather than letting this comment roll off his shoulder, AB chose to throw
terrible comment. Disregard that shit. Dog shit. That was a trash comment. It's a dumb comment because it's a symbiotic relationship. You cannot be like, oh yeah, he passed him the ball. Yo, one has to throw the ball, one has to catch the ball. Don't act like anybody's doing anybody any favors. What if it was some guy that said, oh dude, well, when I catch the ball, he gets passing yards on the fucking MVP leaderboard. Fuck off with that shit.
More fuel on the fire, tweeting, "Trade me, let's find out." This tweet was quickly deleted, although the damage had already been done, and discussions surrounding Antonio's desire to leave the Steelers began to grow. From here, anyone who was critical of AB felt the wrath of his Twitter fingers. In response to a somewhat critical article about his off-field personality, Antonio would threaten the article's creator in a now deleted tweet. "Jesse Washington, wait till I see you, bro. We gon' see what your jaw like." But everything reached the point of no return in Week 17. In preparation for the final game of the regular season, the Steelers had a record of 8 wins, 6 losses, and a tie, and desperately needed a win to keep their playoff aspirations alive. Roethlisberger had become more critical of AB in the final stretch of the season, calling him out directly in team meetings and demanded he be removed from practice. An insider said, "Wednesday in practice, I heard he ran the wrong route. Big Ben threw the ball on the ground, said, 'Get him out of here, get somebody else in there.' And that's when AB was at his boiling point, and that's when he went off." This moment sent AB into another fit of rage, yelling profanities at his quarterback and even threw a ball at him in anger. Antonio left the facility shortly after and did not practice again for the rest of the week. When asked about his absence, Coach Tomlin did his best to cover up the situation and blamed issues with his knee for his lack of participation. Brown was expected to play in the upcoming game, but when he realized he had been benched, he left the stadium at halftime. At this point, the relationship between AB and the organization was destroyed, and Antonio officially requested a trade out of Pittsburgh. And even though this was bad, in the next couple of years, AB was about to destroy his reputation in the NFL permanently. The Las Vegas Raiders chose to trade for him in March of 2019. The Raiders hoped that a new system could allow AB to return back to his roots, with a drama-free environment where he was basically the #1 guy. But it did not work. While preparing for the 2019 season, it was revealed that Antonio had gotten severe frostbite on his feet after entering a cryotherapy chamber with improper footwear, causing him to miss almost the entirety of training camp. Already making headlines for the wrong reasons, Antonio would be extremely unprofessional when
frostbite. Is it? How does that? That's insane. I mean,
when he made his way back onto the field.
Bad frostbite
His
will
old
fuck your
preferred
vessels
helmet
and shit in
model,
your
the
feet
Shut Air
forever.
Advantage, had been recently banned from the NFL, meaning that AB would have to find a new approved model to use for the season. When given his new helmet, Antonio began loudly voicing his displeasure and stormed out of the facility in anger. He claimed that his new helmet was obstructing his vision and making it difficult for him to reliably catch balls, so he repeatedly attempted to sneak his old helmet onto the field. He even tried catch balls, so he repeatedly attempted to sneak his old helmet onto the field. He even tried to paint it to match the Raiders' silver and black color scheme, but eventually was caught and forced to use an approved helmet. Frustrated, Antonio threatened to retire if his demands were not met, and after weeks of back and forth, AB finally caved in and agreed to wear an approved helmet for the upcoming season. But the drama was far from over. Due to repeated unexcused absences at practices, AB was fined $13,000 by the team. He posted to Instagram, "When your own team wants to hate, but there's nothing stopping me now. The devil is a lie. Everyone gotta pay this year, so we clear." The league document reveals that he had also been fined another $40,000 and warns of future infractions if his behavior doesn't change. The following day, AB confronted Raiders GM Mike Mayock about his decision. He began cursing out the man who signs his paychecks, threatened to assault him, and repeatedly called him a cracker. As things escalated, he had to be held back by teammates before breaking free, punting a football, and yelling, "Find me for that."
Yo, it's not a conventional job, right? Because you're a pro football player, but all the media appearances, going to practice, being benched and staying there, being respectful on the grounds at the stadium with the fans, whatever, all of that is part of the job. It's not a conventional job, but you cannot just disregard one part and be like, you can't do that. It's all part of the big check has all of that included. But
Antonio initially apologized for his behavior until he realized that $29 million in guaranteed money was voided from his contract, all because of his behavior. He said, "I have worked my whole life to prove that the system is blind to see talent like mine. Now that everyone sees it, they want me to conform to the same system that has failed me all those years. I'm not mad at anyone. I'm just asking for the freedom to prove them all wrong. Release me, Raiders." At this point, any logical person thinks he's got to be losing his mind, right? Because his argument just doesn't make any sense. Antonio is acting like the NFL was similar to being trapped in a prison or locked into a corrupt industry with no way out. Wearing an approved helmet, showing up to practice, not threatening the general manager, these are bare minimum expectations of a professional workplace. And in exchange, he'd get tens of millions of dollars in guaranteed money. Antonio was turning minor inconveniences into existential battles, and as a result, the team would grant his request, and he was released that same day.
Free!
People are gonna be divas all the time or whatever. I'm not defending it, but I'm just saying it's not out of the ordinary that people will lash out and have these, because once you've standardized it as your life, as your lifestyle, whatever, something that is off, even though it might be mild for you as an outsider, it might annoy somebody, and a lot of the players can get mad sometimes. It's not like he's losing his mind. Like, come on, bro.
They free me, Grandma! Ah, God is the greatest.
My guy acting like he got out of prison. I've never seen someone so happy after losing $30 million. In his time with the Raiders, Antonio never suited up for a regular season game, yet he managed to create nothing but drama and problems for the organization. With his track record, you would think that no team would be willing to give him a shot. That was until the greatest quarterback of all time saw potential in him that nobody else did.
It's extremely real. A one-year deal for Antonio Brown with the New England Patriots. Yes, actually, the New England Patriots. It's a one-year deal worth up to $15 million.
AB had yet another opportunity to play in the NFL, this time with the reigning Super Bowl champion New England Patriots. Tom Brady himself was one of the main reasons the team decided to bring him onto the roster, and Tom even offered to let AB stay at his house until he got settled in New England. But unfortunately, Antonio failed to prove that he was nothing more than just a locker room cancer. Just a few days after signing, Antonio would be named in a lawsuit in which a former trainer alleged that he had SA'd her multiple times in 2017 and 2018. Through his lawyer, Brown would deny these allegations, claiming that all encounters between the two were consensual. The Patriots did acknowledge the suit and stated that they would be awaiting the results of the pending investigation before making a decision. This meant that AB would get the chance to play for the Patriots, appearing in a Week 2 matchup against the Miami Dolphins. However, this would be the only game Antonio Brown ever played in a Patriots jersey, as a handful of other allegations were right around the corner. In a story posted by Sports Illustrated, nearly 24 individuals who worked closely with Brown were interviewed and talked about their experiences with the former All-Pro talent. One individual alleged AB of misconduct and described a similar experience as his previous accuser. AB would make the situation worse when he sent a series of threatening text messages towards the accuser, where he just repeatedly called her broke, suggesting that she was desperate for a payout, and even sent pictures of her own children even though they had nothing to do with the matter. The Patriots officially had enough, and they chose to release AB shortly after these texts were leaked. In less than a year, AB had been kicked off.
Wait, there is something important?
Called her broke. A series of threatening text messages towards the accuser. AB, posted by Sports Illustrated, nearly 24 individuals who worked closely with Brown were interviewed and talked about their experiences with the former All-Pro talent. One his lawyer alleged that he had SA'd her multiple times in 2017 and 2018. Through his lawyer, Brown would deny these allegations, claiming that all encounters between the two were consensual. The Patriots did acknowledge the suit and stated that they would be awaiting the results of the pending investigation before making a decision. This meant that AB would get the chance to play for the Patriots, appearing in a Week 2 matchup against the Miami Dolphins. However, this would be the only game Antonio Brown ever played in a Patriots jersey, as a handful of other allegations were right around the corner. In a story posted by Sports Illustrated, nearly 24 individuals who worked closely with Brown were interviewed and talked about their experiences with the former All-Pro talent. One individual alleged AB of misconduct and described a similar experience as his previous accuser. AB would make the situation worse when he sent a series of threatening text messages towards the accuser, where he just repeatedly called her broke, suggesting that she was desperate for a payout, and even sent pictures of her own children even though they had nothing to do with the matter. The Patriots officially had enough, and they chose to release AB shortly after these texts were leaked. In less than a year, AB had been kicked off 3 NFL teams. No matter how talented he was, his off-the-field antics were too risky to deal with. He was initially hoping to sign with another team, but then he changed his mind and announced his retirement. But then he changed his mind again a few days later and announced that he's not retiring. But there were still no teams willing to sign him. From there, Antonio made headlines after getting into a domestic dispute with the mother of his children. Bizarrely, AB chose to live stream the police investigation to his Instagram, in which he verbally berates both his ex and the officers.
Thought you was taking them to school, sir. She supposed to take the kids to school. She came here to steal a car. She's staying at a hotel. Ask her where she's staying. That got 2 more other kids somewhere else, she don't know.
Then again, maybe this was just a part of his rollout for his rap career, because AB dropped 5 songs in January of 2020, starting with the single Whole Lot of Money.
Even if you're right, I don't give a fuck. If you stream and you put your children on the fucking camera like this, and you act at a scene like that in front of children, it's just not right. I don't care.
That went viral for how bad it was. And I guess now that he had a new rapper persona, becoming violent would add to the brand, because he had a warrant put out for his arrest after he assaulted a delivery driver.
That's when a delivery driver tried to deliver some of Brown's items from California. Police say Brown apparently refused to pay, threw a rock at the delivery truck, caused some damage to it. The driver agreed to come back, and the driver said that Brown then grabbed him and pulled on him, causing some scratches on him. Police were called. When they arrived, investigators say Brown went into his home and did not come out.
With charges of burglary, battery, and criminal mischief, Brown turned himself into the police. In court, prosecutors argued that AB was a danger to society, posed a flight risk, and requested that he remain in custody until his trial's conclusion. While he lucked out and was able to walk out of jail on a $100,000 bond, he wasn't free of consequences. He received 2 years of probation and a $1.2 million fine, but it's all good because he's got a whole lot of money. Because of his never-ending bad behavior, the NFL handed him an 8-game suspension for violating their personal conduct policy. Since he was not on a team, that meant if he did eventually get signed, he would have to sit out of the first 8 games before being able to play. And while you might think that this would only dissuade teams from bringing him in, you'd be mistaken, as Tom Brady once again came to the rescue for Antonio Brown. AB signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the 2020 and 2021 season. His former Patriots teammate Tom Brady had recently joined the team as well, and was the main advocate to bring him in, and Brady once again offered him a room at his home to make sure AB was taken care of. And even though everyone thought this would be a disaster, it was actually the total opposite. After serving his suspension, AB had a productive season on the field, but more importantly, he managed to stay out of trouble. To top it all off, he even caught a touchdown pass in the Super Bowl, helping the Bucs secure the Lombardi Trophy. AB did what many thought was impossible. He put football first, and as a result, he won the trophy that every football player dreams of. This should have been a moment of reflection for him, that despite all of the nonsense off the field, he could remain focused and prove himself as
or it means that everybody was wrong and you were right the whole time, and it's all because of you that you popped off, and then you're the GOAT.
Still the best in the game. Many assumed that he had changed for the better, and we were about to see one of the most legendary redemption arcs of all time. But actually, this was just about to be the end of his football career. In the following season, Brown was suspended for 3 games for submitting a fake COVID vaccination card with the league. In response, Buccaneers head coach Bruce Arians implied that AB's time with the team was up in the air.
The league did their due diligence, and we move on. I will not address those guys for the next 3 weeks. They'll just be working out, and then we'll address their future at that time.
Shortly after returning, Antonio was seen having another meltdown on the sideline, taking off his jersey, throwing his shoulder pads to the ground in anger, and jogging off the field. This was the last time Antonio Brown ever stepped on an NFL field. After the game, head coach Bruce Arians confirmed that this was the final straw.
What happened to Antonio Brown? Did he quit? I've never seen a guy leave a field like that, and is this the last strike for him?
He is no longer a Buck.
Arians tried to get Brown to go in again, and he refused, which is when Arians told Brown to leave. AB claimed that he refused to go in due to an ankle injury he had been forced to play through. I took a seat on the sideline, and my coach came up to me, very upset, and shouted, "What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?" I told him, "It's my ankle," but he knew that. It was well documented, and we had discussed it. He then ordered me to get on the field. I said, "Coach, I can't." He didn't call for medical attention. Instead, he shouted at me, "You're done," while he ran his finger across his throat. Coach was telling me that if I didn't play hurt, that I was done with the Bucs. While MRIs did prove that AB was playing through an injury, Arians denied his story and claimed he had no idea his ankle was hurt. Because
dog shit coach, let's be honest. Is that a coach or whatever? This guy's a fuckhead. What is on this guy? What, if the MR really broken bone fragment from the bone cartilage loss, I mean, what? This guy's just a fuckhead.
Claimed he had no idea his ankle was hurt. And because AB had burned every bridge and destroyed all goodwill with the public, nobody had any reason to believe him or come to his defense. So from there, Antonio Brown had officially been relegated from NFL superstar to social media.
I'm not taking his word. I'm taking the medical report, though. I'm not taking his word for it. It is a medical report. The coaches, that would be the coach's word against his medical fucking account of it. You would have to say, it says he said. So he said that's a medical report.
And
MRI revealed. So not him revealed. The MRI revealed. Oh, the wide receiver said. Oh, okay, well. I guess we'll never know.
Influencer and officially been relegated from NFL superstar to social media influencer and wannabe rapper, posting endlessly on his Snapchat, Instagram, and Twitter, which only opened up a wide open door of opportunity to keep getting in trouble. While staying at a hotel in Abu Dhabi, AB was filmed harassing a woman in the hotel's pool. He can be seen flashing the woman and shoving his private parts into the woman's face. I'm not sure how much I'll be able to show, but he jumped out of the pool and stuck his butt in her face. Then he began picking her up and throwing her into the pool. Then as she was swimming away, he flashed his manhood to everyone in the pool. The woman quickly reported him to hotel staff, and he was asked to leave shortly after. Antonio claimed that the situation was taken out of context and that she took off his bathing suit and that the media was targeting him. A few months later, a warrant for AB's arrest was issued in Tampa Bay. Antonio was accused of locking the mother of his children outside of her home, tossed her belongings out of a window, threw a shoe at her, and even threatened to shoot her. While these charges were dropped shortly after, it was clear that his mental health was declining more and more as the days went on. But perhaps the most clear indication of how destructive AB is was when he bankrupted an entire football franchise. The arena football team, Albany Empire, was in desperate need of funding. The organization chose to ignore Antonio Antonio's past and bring him in as an owner. He paid $350,000 for a 47.5% ownership stake in the team, and problems arose immediately, as players began noticing that payments were not being processed on time. As a result, some players contemplated sitting out of an upcoming game, however they changed their minds after being shown proof of payment. Everything seemed to be fine until the game had ended and they returned to their hotels, where they discovered their room keys no longer worked. According to the staff at the hotel, Brown had intervened and had their rooms canceled in retaliation for their issues with payment. The team's ownership partners already began regretting their decision to bring Antonio on and attempted to buy him out of his share, but Antonio refused to go anywhere and continued to skimp out on payments to the players, staff, and to the league. This was a violation of league policy, and the Albany Empire team was kicked out of the National Arena League as a result. It was at this point that whatever reputation AB had left was completely destroyed. Not only were teams unwilling to sign him, but no one in their right mind would be willing to do business with him either. The only thing he still had going for him was his online troll persona, which managed to keep himself relevant on his way spiraling down to rock bottom. He found himself in controversy after sharing an AI-generated image of himself making out with Taylor Swift.
No, if he has share in the thing, of course it'd be his fault. If he's not paying his part, they onboard the cost together. He would be about half their pay at that point. No, as a shareholder of that kind, you would, right? Or am I wrong? It would be up to him to put the money, continue onboarding the expenses.
Swift found himself in controversy after sharing an AI-generated image of himself making out with Taylor Swift. He made headlines for celebrating Morgan Wallen, calling him Cracker of the Day after he was arrested for throwing a chair off a balcony. Referencing his similar run-in with the law, AB said, "We got a lot in common." He was blocked by WNBA star Caitlin Clark after making an inappropriate comment that many have described as harassment.
Bro, what is wrong with this guy?
Getting blocked, AB doubled down on his comments and questioned why she was offended. But the worst of them all, a true testament of how low AB was willing to go for some internet clout, is how he disrespected the one man who believed in him when nobody else did, Tom Brady.
Brady can't do by himself, but you guys gonna make it seem like he just this horror guy. Bro, we're all humans, bro. We all dependent on someone else to do the job. How'd he help me? Would he help my career to come back?
No,
because
just like
they helped
letting you
him.
stay at his house and
Bro, stay at his house. I got my own money, bro. You guys know who I am?
I like the fact.
I don't need to stay at no one house. I got my own houses. Guys do that to influence you guys in the publicly. Like, oh, he's at Tom's house, then he's maybe a good guy.
Right.
But I thought I was a good guy. I was a great football player. That's why you guys know me, right?
Tom Brady attempted to save AB's career twice. One time in New England and the second time in Tampa Bay. After AB was kicked off the Buccaneers.
Yeah, if the person that's helping you isn't claiming that he's an angel and being like oh guys, I'm making him or whatever. If the guy's just helping and just doing his thing or whatever, and then you bite back like that, you're always wrong in my opinion. You're a fucking, this is a loser behavior. I don't agree with that at all.
He still supported him. Tom said, "I think everybody should hopefully do what they can to help him in ways that he really needs it. We all love him. We care about him deeply. We want to see him be at his best. And unfortunately, it won't be with our team, but we have a lot of friendships that will last. I think everyone should be very compassionate and empathetic towards some very difficult things that are happening." Despite Tom unapologetically supporting Antonio at his lowest moments, when Tom Brady's divorce made headlines, AB posted a bunch of photos mocking Tom with his now ex-wife Giselle, and began frequently insulting Tom on social media whenever he got the chance. He even leaked a private text conversation with Tom where Brady is giving AB some much needed but honest tough love, calling him selfish, irrational, and irresponsible. AB would frequently provoke Tom with fake nude pictures of his wife and offhanded comments over the next few years. However, in 2024, AB surprisingly apologized for his actions towards Brady and posted a recording of a phone call where Tom had accepted his apology. "Love my teammate and friend. He helped me out the mud and I'm forever grateful for him. I'm sorry for my side of everything." But unfortunately, Antonio Brown would finally get himself in a situation that he could not simply apologize for, one that may land him in federal prison for a very long time. During a boxing event hosted by Aiden Ross, AB claimed that he was jumped by multiple people who tried to steal his jewelry and stated that he would be taking legal action against his assaulters. But a month later, a warrant for his arrest was filed on charges of attempted murder. Antonio failed to mention that during the scuffle, he had stolen a security guard's gun during the encounter and fired multiple shots at his alleged attackers. From there, AB antagonized the Miami police on Twitter, and he fled the country, traveling to Dubai to hopefully evade charges back in the States. But in November, he was finally arrested in Dubai and extradited to the
that's the
Montez Perfect changed this man's life forever.
That's the video lady. This video that charged her like kindergarten or like elementary school friend like multiple times.
The United States to face his attempted second-degree murder charge. AB faces up to 25 or 30 years in prison if found guilty, and he awaits trial to this day. He and his team recently motioned for dismissal, claiming that he was just standing his ground in self-defense, even though in the clip you can see him chasing after his attack.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I said the same statement last time. That would not apply. I mean, one, the decision would be over and you're chasing it. That is never good. That's never good.
But even if AB manages to dodge this conviction, it's only a matter of time before he finds himself in serious trouble again. Antonio Brown was given more second chances than anyone with his reputation deserved. The reality is that he was never willing to truly hold himself accountable for his behavior that was at best childish and annoying, or at worst life-threatening to others. Now, if we were talking about your random social media influencer or C-list actor, then maybe this wouldn't be so shocking. But Antonio Brown had a genuine chance of being one of the greatest NFL wide receivers of all time, and most definitely would have been a Hall of Famer, let alone the hundreds of millions of dollars that he would have made along the way. Imagine someone choosing to be a Twitter troll with a growing criminal record over being a sports legend who could be filthy rich and inspire a generation to follow their lead. When times got tough and he didn't get his way, AB quit and blamed everyone else but himself. That's his legacy. In a weird way, I hope we can blame his downfall on CTE, because then it might make sense. Otherwise, it's just pathetic. But this type of self-destruction isn't entirely unique to AB. It reminds me a lot of Conor McGregor, someone who got countless opportunities to change, but eventually found himself guilty of crimes. But if you
I have to be honest with you,
want to hear more about that, check out this video.
Bro, getting hit repeatedly. Yeah, I mean... Also, dude, I'm actually confused about the CTE thing. Well, you just said, oh, you're not an expert, but I still don't, I don't know where this is from, though. It doesn't have to be hits. Like, it doesn't even have to be hits of any kind. It doesn't have to be. There's no strong evidence that shows that getting one or more concussions or occasional hits to the head, exposure, head impact. It does. I don't think it has to be. I'm so confused. Because we watched a video about this last time. You guys remember? Vibrations aren't hits to the head. I mean, that's just clearly just bad. Guys, there's a video. It's like a skeleton. Guys, it's like skeleton fucking athletes. Fucking yo, I'm not kidding. Hold on, let me show you so you don't think I'm crazy. It's interesting.
xQcl.
Look. Scum athletes at risk of developing chromatic CTE due to sled head. A phenomenon caused by repetitive high-force vibrations and brain rattling and subconcussive impacts. Basically, you're not getting hit of any kind. You're just sliding it, and your brain is moving around, and it's cooking the whole time. What? You can actually read it. Yeah, I can read it. What about it? Hi. Oh, you want to, I think... What? What? I mean, are you okay? No, I think you're missing the point, though. Yo, wording things properly is important. You're just being dumb. I know for a fact you're just being dumb. It's all good. It's fine. It's whatever. You're just being fucking stupid. Fuck you. Suck my balls. Fuck you. No. Bro. There is no way... repeat hits to the head. Hits to the head is very precise language. Hits to the head. You're not gonna give me this. Oh, the vibration that you're feeling, whatever, that would be hit it. No, you're wrong. You're just wrong. I mean, it's all good. You just want to get a +1 on me. You're just done. You're just done. A hit to the head and getting your brain wobbled because your body hitting the ground isn't the same thing.